Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. Earlier this week, you said that the U.S. had secured commitments with the governments of Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras to bolster security forces at their border. But yesterday, the special envoy for the Northern Triangle testified on Capitol Hill that there were no agreements. So can you explain the discrepancy?
I'd have to look back at his testimony, Kristen.
I have it right here. He said he was asked by Congressman Castro. He said, Congressman Castro asked him, I just want to confirm, were there any agreements reached in relation to increasing border security in these countries? And the special envoy said, no, there were no agreements concluded with governments regarding border security.
Well, whether or not it was a formal agreement, which it was not, and I never conveyed that it was, these were steps that these countries indicated they plan to take to increase personnel and security to reduce the number of migrants coming across the border. Those are steps they've taken on the ground.
Just to be clear, are these new commitments that the Biden administration has secured, or were they already in existence?
We never described it as a formal declaration or a formal agreement, but additional steps that they were taking to increase personnel at the border. And those are steps that you can confirm with those countries that they have taken.
Okay,
Go ahead.
One more question.
I just have to get around to everyone, so I'll come back to you, I promise. Go ahead.
Yesterday, you said that President Biden remains committed to raising the refugee cap to the higher levels you previewed. But advocates have been questioning whether the delay to that move is based on the situation in the border. Is it true that President Biden doesn't want to raise the refugee cap while the situation at the border is like it is right now?
Well, I actually expect we'll have some more news on this today. So stay tuned. But I would say that it is a factor. ORR, which is a part of HHS, does do refugee, does do management and has personnel working on both issues. And so we have to ensure that there is capacity and ability to manage both. Now, I will say that the other piece that has been a factor is that it took us some time to see and evaluate how ineffective or how trashed in some ways the refugee processing system had become. And so we had to rebuild some of those muscles and put it back in place. But I expect, again, we'll have more news on this today, and we'll share that with all of you. Go ahead in the back.